Hey guys, Zen here, and welcome back. Guys, Ubisoft finally announced this huge next adventure for one of the operators in Rainbow Six Siege, and it's something that fans have been waiting over a decade for, and so we have to get into all the details. The cheating problem in Rainbow has reached an all-new height, and the devs have gotten to the point of handing over cold, hard compensation to those who help the cause. So, what do you say? Are you willing to sniff out those exploits for a little personal gain? And yes, another big title has just gone gold, and there's actually a lot of content right at launch. Let's discuss. But first, guys, this video is sponsored by R6 Tracker. By now, you guys know how big of a fan I am of R6 Tracker, and it makes sense because it is literally the best companion to Siege and completely free to download. So once you get it installed, you'll see the overlay. You'll get a complete breakdown of your current performance metrics, showing your current rank, KD, win percentage, and a full match history to look back on. You're also able to see your top operators and who you're playing with the most and the best, as well as individual stats for each. Now, in-game, you'll see the live match stats. As the round progresses, you'll see the stats for each player update in real time, and there's some extra information, like your chance of winning right at a glance. And my personal favorite feature is the search option. So at any moment, you're able to search up a player in Rainbow Six Siege and do a deep dive on their performance. You'll see performance graphs and trends over time, so if you're up against a really strong player, you can see how they got there. Or, of course, if you want to check in on a friend or content creator. So guys, click the link in the description and go download R6 Tracker for free today. So the latest updates on Siege and cheating are out, and there's some very big and noteworthy things to know here. First, the devs have promised, and this is really the first time they've ever done this, but they promised that an update on the cheating situation will come every 1.5 months, with the first one dropping February 10th. I would say they're definitely feeling the heat here. The community has been really aggressive in wanting to know exactly what's going on with all the exploits and hacking, and these updates sometimes take months and months to really get a full picture, and so now, every 1.5 months, you'll hear something straight from the horse's mouth. They've also named every piece of the cheating pipeline, and it's really eye-opening how deep this rabbit hole goes. So there's the blatant cheaters, the covert cheaters, those are the ones who try and hide it, the overperforming cheaters, these are my favorite because they look so cracked, but these are the guys that always know where you are but look in the wrong direction just to throw you off. Boosted players, account stealers, cheat makers, and finally the cheat resellers, the Amazon marketplace for cheaters. I feel like we're talking about the mafia here, like there are layers to this whole thing and so many moving parts that are literally raking in the millions. So why Siege then? Yes, it's a problem in plenty of other games, but why is R6 such a huge target? 3 reasons: money, pro league, and advantage. That's really it. There's a ton of money to be made. There's naturally talented pro players that people want to emulate, and look, if you're sick of being shot in the face and aren't good enough to give it back, then you might want an unfair advantage. Now, in total, there's been over 222,000 bans handed out for this, and my mouth dropped when I heard this, but they ban over 10,000 accounts every single month. Cheaters usually hang out in the top 5 to 10% of ranks, and so with such a tiny pool of the player base competing there, most of those 10,000 accounts are being felt by platinum and diamond ranked players. And good luck if you're a champ, because you're basically guaranteed to face a cheater every game you play with numbers like this. But now they're working closer with the bug bounty program and will offer you recognition and even compensation if you uncover vulnerabilities and exploits. Whether it's an in-game charm, some R6 credits, or even cold hard cash, you could seriously benefit from reporting this kind of stuff moving forward, and that kind of support for the community can be a powerful tool. Next up, Ubisoft dropped a bombshell that literally broke the internet, but it's confirmed, guys. Zero is getting his own game. Now, when Zero was added to Siege, there was definitely a lot of excitement because if you didn't know, Zero is none other than Sam Fisher, the main character of the Splinter Cell games, and this has been one of his only new appearances in 10 long years. But adding him to Siege was also a huge problem to a totally separate community who wanted to see a new game in the Splinter Cell series. Well, that day has finally arrived, and a brand new Splinter Cell game is in the works and development has begun. Now, details are light, but here's everything you need to know. For one, it's a remake, so it's not like the next numbered game or anything, but a full remake inspired by the classic games. They said it was important to do a remake and not a remaster, and to keep the spirit of the old games intact. It'll be developed using the Snowdrop engine, so the same engine that powers The Division, and also Ubisoft's upcoming Avatar game. It's one of the best looking game engines out there, and so I think Splinter Cell is gonna be a drop-dead gorgeous title when it does finally release. And it's being made at Ubisoft Toronto. Here's a quote from a developer speaking with IGN. "It's important for us to preserve the sense of mastery by supporting players who observe the situations, make their plan, use their gadgets, and outsmart the enemy creatively to deal with the challenges they're presented with. Ideally, they end up coming out on the other side with no one having realized realized you were even there. That's the essence of a Splinter Cell game. Now, over time, the Tom Clancy brand has gotten a lot of criticism for, well, not being very Tom Clancy. And it looks like this remake will bring some of that name recognition back and focus on stealth tactics and smart gameplay to get the upper hand. And yeah, another game in the lineup has officially gone gold. Rainbow Six Extraction announced they've gone gold and that they'll be live and ready this January when it releases on the 20th. Now, even though it hasn't had the smoothest coming out party, each time I've played Extraction, I've enjoyed myself. I think the co-op gameplay mixed with the Siege game mechanics works surprisingly well, and I see it as a nice way to still enjoy Siege without being ultra sweaty and ranked. But they've detailed everything that'll be available at launch. It'll have 12 maps, each with 3 zones, 13 random mission types, 18 operators at launch, more than 20 React Tech gadgets, and 10 different Archeans. Then there's also the Proteans that mimic the operators in Siege, but with special Archean-like powers. And with all that, it'll also be crossplay with cross progression, so no worries where you or your buddies decide to jump in. There was actually quite a bit here for an initial offering. Now, I made a video a while back about the endgame mode in Extraction called Maelstrom, and this was absolutely no joke. It was incredibly challenging, and if you're badass enough, it features ranks all the way up to Diamond. I think if you're a Siege player looking for a co-op game and maybe a little burnt out on Siege, Extraction is a good option to scratch that itch, and we'll have to see how many players convert over. But yeah, that's the video, guys. Let me know if you'll be hunting down cheaters in Siege, and if you're excited to see Zero go back to his roots. Leave a comment with your thoughts. Guys, thanks for watching. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey, I'm out.